Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the business meeting of the Corporate Strategy Interest Group. I will share some slides and then get us started. So I'm Snezhyana Dorobantseva, the chair of the interest group. I'm here with Arkady Sakhartov, the program chair for the interest group, and Minuan Zhao, associate program chair, will jointly present to you the activities of our interest group. So today's meeting, we shouldn't take the whole hour, that's for sure. And we've definitely saved some time at the end for your feedback, your targeted feedback. If at any point during the presentation you want to raise your hand and ask specific questions, we're more than happy to clarify things as we go. So I'll provide a very quick overview of the Corporate Strategy Interest Group to get us started. Then we'll tell you more specifically in greater detail about the interest group's activity at the conference, the Best Proposal Award, the social gatherings that we have planned for you in Toronto, as well as our main engagement activity outside of the conference, which is the Corporate Strategy Masterclass. Following that, we have a leadership award that we will hand out at this meeting, that we'll hand out virtually at this meeting. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about who is on the roster for elections in November. And as I mentioned, whatever time we have left at the end, we hope to have a more engaged and interactive conversation, requesting your feedback on the activities of the interest group. So, as an overview, you probably know that the Strategic Management Society has more than 3,000 members from 70 countries around the world. And within the Strategic Management Society, the Corporate Strategy Interest Groups has, as of last year, 656 members. The numbers for 2023 are still being updated as people are renewing their membership before the conference. The most interesting thing I think about the Corporate Strategy IG is that 20% of the SMS members are members of our interest group, which makes us one of the largest interest groups within SMS. And if you're a new member and joining a business meeting for the very first time or joining the Corporate Strategy Interest Group for the very first time, I want to say a warm welcome on behalf of all of us. The Corporate Strategy Interest Group is led by 9 people. By a team of 9 people. We have 3 chairs that serve on a sort of, their term is a 3-year term, Minuan, Arkady, and myself. So we each start as associate program chair, continue in year 2 as program chair, and then in year 3 as chair. So Arkady is the program chair this year. He was associate program last year, and he will continue as chair of the interest group next year. And Minuan Zhao is associate program chair this year, will continue as program chair, and then in year 3 will be the chair of the interest group. We also have 6 wonderful representatives of large, each of them serving for 2-year terms. Elisa, Philip, and Susan started in 2002 and are continuing and ending their terms in 2023. And Elena, Teresa, and Daniel started this year. Everybody starts in January, so January to 2023, and will continue through the end of 2024. So I want to say a really, really huge thanks to everybody on this leadership team. Everything that the interest group does happens only because the people that you see on the slide are taking initiatives, are getting things organized. So what does the interest group do? We coordinate a range of activities, the majority of which happen at the conference, but we also have engagement activities outside the SMS conference. So at the conference itself, we are fully in charge of the corporate strategy track program. So everything that you see listed on that part of the program, Arkady as program chair was in charge of that. We have the special sessions, so so-called Sunday special sessions of the IG. These are pre-conference. We have 2 of these this year. We have a separate paper development workshop organized by our interest group in collaboration with other interest groups. We're organizing the business meeting, of course, this year, and for the past 3 years has been virtual. And then at the conference, also in person, we are organizing some really wonderful social events that we'll tell you about in just a moment. Outside of the conference, the engagement activities focus on the Corporate Strategy Masterclass series, which was launched in 2021, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. And to kind of present all of these, not just at the business meeting, but also in your inboxes, we put together an annual newsletter that you will receive not very long from now. So at the SMS 2023 conference in Toronto, our interest group has organized 2 sessions and 1 workshop, the paper development workshop. And as I mentioned already, has organized a conference program for the corporate strategy track. For that specific track, 90 proposals were submitted. These were reviewed by 114 reviewers. So again, Arkady was in charge of the whole process. About half of them, 53% specifically of those proposals, were accepted, and those proposals were organized in 10 sessions for the corporate strategy track. All right, so let me turn it over to Minuan, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the special activities organized by the interest group outside of the main program, and then Arkady will tell you about the program itself. Minuan?
Okay, thank you, Cindy. So I'm going to talk about the Saturday and the Sunday sessions. They are organized by our very competent representatives of Large this year. So Saturday, this is joined with other IGs. We will have a paper development session. So I think applications are already in, and the team is reviewing the applications and send out invitations. So as you can see, a stellar lineup of panelists. So Cindy, if you can move on to the next slide. So Sunday, I would invite all of you to attend these 2 sessions. We're lucky to have the panelists. We're very fast to get the locals that are known experts in the respective fields. So the first session is continuation from the previous years. We had a good run of the micro foundations of corporate strategy in the past few years. So we'll have Sarah Kaplan, Lamar Pierce, Jeff Rao, and Libby Weber to talk about, how do we understand there's a lot of discussion about what is and is not micro foundation and what's the role in corporate strategy. So we'll continue the discussion this year. And at 9:30, they're right next to each other, is the cross-disciplinary research, because we believe, people from different fields can speak to the current research in corporate strategy. So we have Connie Helfand, Anita, Brian, and Todd. Again, we're very lucky to get, extremely well-respected speakers to our panels. So these are the Saturday and the Sunday sessions, and I'll hand over to Arkady to talk about the programs.
Hello, everyone. I am Arkady Sakhartov, program chair for our interest group. I am delighted to present the program for our sessions. There will be 10 sessions in the core of the program. Those are paper sessions and common ground discussions. First of all, I would like to acknowledge an amazing work which those 114 reviewers did in terms of selecting and evaluating papers for our program. They did their job very carefully and very much facilitated and enabled the eventual decision on which papers to accept and even how to group those papers into the sessions. So we ended up having 10 sessions. The first 2 sessions will be on Sunday. Then we will have 4 sessions on Monday and other 4 sessions on Tuesday. We also have been fortunate to recruit outstanding experts as leaders for these 10 sessions. You can see that corporate renewal session will be chaired by Donald Berg. Dynamic use of corporate resources will be led by Dovel Lavie. Sid Finkelstein will lead the session on implications of corporate governance for corporate strategy. Juan Alcazar will lead the session on resource allocation strategies. Tommy Laamanen will chair the session on determinants and performance outcomes in corporate acquisitions. Martina Pasquini will lead the session on environmental, social, and governance considerations in corporate strategy. Julia Bodner will chair the session on determinants of resource redeployment. Vit Henish will lead the session on non-market strategies. Nick Argyris will lead the session on governance of interfirm and intra-firm relationships. And Hyun Byun will lead the session on synergies and timing in corporate acquisitions. I am glad that all 10 sessions are in their core by their topics of corporate strategy. So this program is very coherent and well structured in terms of how papers are split across the sessions. Yeah, we can now go to the next slide, and I am glad to say that again, thanks to the amazing work of our reviewers, it was not very difficult to select 4 finalists for the Best Proposal Awards. And we can now see those finalists. Those papers were, while on average, each proposal in our program was reviewed by 3 reviewers, those 4 papers were reviewed probably by twice as many reviewers as other proposals, and there was a consistency in evaluations of reviewers with regard to those papers being the best among all submissions to the corporate strategy interest groups. So the first submission, the first finalist is Bilbao BioBale, co-authored by Anthony Gibbs, Hyun Byun, and Kwon Jin Lin. The second finalist is Does Acquisitive Growth Intensify Subsequent Organic Growth? Reconsidering Lockett, Wiklund, Davidson, Girma, 2011, co-authored by Alessandra Lucini Paoni, Panos Desilas, Orietta Marsili, and Elena Sefis. The third finalist is the paper titled Failing to Prepare is Preparing to Fail, Acquisition Load and Forecasting Errors in Acquisition Integration, co-authored by Debian and Tomi Laamanen. And the fourth finalist selected by our reviewers is titled Dispute Resolution Within Firms and is co-authored by Beverly Rich, Katie Magelson, and Kyle Mayer. And among those 4 finalists, with the help of the reviewers, we also selected the winner who received the highest, unambiguously highest evaluation from the reviewers and multiple recommendations for the award. And this reviewer is the paper titled Does Acquisitive Growth Intensify Subsequent Organic Growth? Reconsidering Lockett, Wiklund, Davidson, Girma, 2011. And the co-authors of this paper are Alessandra Lucini Paoni, Panos Desilas, Orietta Marsili, and Elena Sefis. So I would like to congratulate the winner of the Best Proposal Award, and also all the finalists. We have had an amazing set of papers who made it to the top of our submissions this year. Thank you for those high quality submissions, and we are very glad to congratulate you as the winners. And I think that I am now passing the stage to Min-Yuan, right?
Yep, Min-Yuan
Yeah.
will tell us.
I see Elena is also in attendance, and the team did a really good job organizing the social events. If you can move on the slide. Yeah. So there are 2 components. One is specifically to our IG, and we're going to do some early morning exercise. Given the unique location we're in, we want to take advantage of the fact that there are some famous street art, and actually if you can search Google for it, and there's a website devoted to street art in the neighborhood, and there are different locations. You can basically chart them on the map. We'll meet at 7 a.m. on Sunday, leaving the hotel. We'll just have some brisk walk, and we will pay for your coffee and pastry. If you want anything fancier, maybe you have to get your credit card ready, but we'll just have take advantage of fall weather. Fingers crossed it will be a nice weather, and just enjoy the company and exercise and laughter along the way. So it will be very casual. We just thought it's a great opportunity to take advantage of the location. And the next event is together with other IGs, again, to take advantage of where we will be. Toronto is known for jazz, So I know there are some other IGs bring their members, to concert, but this is a more laid back event. So we'll invite a local jazz band to the premise. So it'll be right there in the hotel. And we'll have a professor of jazz from University of Toronto to give a brief introduction of jazz in Toronto. And then we will have jazz themed drinks on us. So again, both events will be relaxing, fun, and a great opportunity for the IG members to social with each other. Elena, do you have anything to add?
No, I think the theme is jazz, and I think the drink that will be special for the event will be a Sazerac with, I believe, Canadian whiskey.
Well, okay, thank you. Okay, if there are no further questions, we'll get back to Cindy. I think Cindy, you
Your engagement activities. So first of all,
so this is my part too. Sorry, it's hard to see what's coming up without switching forward. So outside of the conferences, the big event, not big event, this very well received event of the corporate strategy IG is the master classes, and it started by Katie Magnuson 3 years ago. I think the discussion was 3 years ago. The first event was June 2021. Basically inviting speakers who are experts in the field, and that's why it's called master classes, to talk about specific topics. So the topics can be foundational, for example, what is diversification, the theory of the firm, right? Very fundamental topics, or specific interests. So it's very well run, and you can find all the recordings on YouTube. And some of the earlier master classes have been viewed like hundreds of times. So every time was very well attended. So we really appreciate the efforts of the team to start the series and to continue the series. So Katie was the one who started the series, and can you move on to the next slide? Liza joined the team, and the two of them organized the 4 more master classes in 2022 and early this year. And Katie, quote unquote, retired from the representative large role, and we are the series is taken over by two again very competent team. So we we'll have next year, we'll have corporate renewal, intersection of corporate and competitive strategy, and demand side view of corporate strategy, again, led by very experts in the field. So we're very much looking forward to the news, what's coming up in this series. If you have any suggestions, we welcome any members to talk about, to suggest speakers or topics. If you think a topic is going to appeal a large audience in our interest group, or if you think that there's like forward-looking, earth-shaking fundamental questions that deserve a masterclass, we welcome all suggestions. Again, thank you. Really appreciate the wonderful team to put this series together.
Thank you for that, Mignon. Thank you first and foremost for all the work that you've done with the representatives at large to organize the pre-conference activities, the sessions, the PDW, and of course the social events. Thank you for continuing the masterclass series with the representatives at large, and thank you, Arkady, for all your work on the main program. So the next thing that we'd like to do, and I think it's a very natural continuation of the presentation of the masterclass, is to do something that we don't do every single year. We just do when we think it's really truly deserved, and we're going to hand out a leadership award. And I think it really builds on the comments that just showed up in chat in which Daniel says that Catherine has, I would say, or must have a lifetime appointment and responsibility for arranging the masterclass. You're ahead of the game here, Daniel. The leadership award goes to Catherine. I know you're here, Catherine. I don't know if you can hear us, if you're, yeah, I see you now. Now I see you on the screen. So thank you so much on behalf of the Corporate Strategy IG. Thank you also on a personal level, because you probably remember very, very well the conversation that we had at the very, very beginning of 2001, when, well, many of you probably don't know the backstory here. You do know that in 2021, we were about, I don't know, 10 months into a pandemic, and all our lives were virtual, our professional lives were virtual. And SMS was trying really, really hard to figure out how to engage its members on a sort of ongoing basis using virtual means, in ways that, you know, don't rely on physical presence at conferences. And our Corporate Strategy IG wanted to do something along the lines of a masterclass, and Katie was so wonderful to not just step in and agree to take on the role of engagement officer for that year and sort of the leader of the masterclass, but she did such an amazing job launching this series and then continuing the next year, that I think you know, a leadership award is nowhere near enough to say to show our appreciation and gratitude for everything that Katie has done for the AG. It really does. She really truly did go much above and beyond what was expected or called upon from a rep at large. So Katie, somewhere, you know, this is the official meeting in which we're handing this to you. There's the SMS office is, I think, very busy printing a plaque or getting it sculpted by artisans somewhere. At some point, it's going to come up in your email, or maybe somebody from the office will hand it over to you in Toronto if you're there. But I think, you know, one more time, thank you so much for all the work that you've done. We really, truly appreciate it. So with that encouragement, I actually want to turn it over to the future and to everybody who will be filling in sort of, or stepping in the footsteps of people like Katie, and not just her, right? We have a wonderful team of many other representatives at large who are working with the interest group. But here are the candidates for in the November 2023 elections. So as I mentioned before, there are two types of position. The chairs serve for 3 years. They start as associate program chair. So the only election is for associate program chair, and then they continue as program chair, and then finally chair of the division or the interest group. And the two candidates for the associate program chair position in 2023 will be Philippe Mayer-Doyle from INSEAD and Yambo Wang from Hong Kong University. And as you already heard, that we have 6 representatives at large working for the interest group, or working with the interest group to organize all the wonderful sessions that we mentioned. And so we have 6 candidates. Out of the 6 candidates, 3 will be elected. So the new cohort will start at the beginning of next year. So 3 of the 6 will be our new representatives of large for the interest group. And the candidates are Jasmina Chauvin from Georgetown University, Carlos Inu from University of Illinois, Min Jung Kim from University of Illinois, Min Young Kim from University of Kansas, Lisa Tang from National University of Singapore, and Ulia Solomon from Washington University. So thank you all for running for this particular election. One thing I want to say in addition to that is that starting this year, the SMS is doing a sort of a more perhaps proactive effort to encourage members of SMS and members of particular interest groups to self-nominate for these positions. I know some of you have nominated yourselves or have expressed an interest to be running for elections, and we have that list, and we will reach out to you in the future to see if you're still interested at that time. So with that, we conclude the official part of our, the official presentation for our meeting. And I'd like to turn it over and just open it up for a very open and broad and interactive discussion, we'd like to solicit your feedback on anything that really you want to bring up, anything that you'd want to share with us. But also, if you want to be more specific on things that the interest group could do to be helpful to its members, or if you have some sort of specific ideas or recommendations, suggestions on what you think are the next big questions or theories or methods for corporate strategy research, things that we could feature either in a special interest group session at the next conference in 2024, or perhaps organize as a masterclass. So anything that you'd like to do, we're here and would love to have this conversation with you, to write down comments, to think about, you know, what we can do, what the leadership can do for the entire interest group. This interest group is really for the members, so we'd love to hear your ideas and suggestions.
I'll break the ice. I think it would be cool to have maybe some master classes or some sessions looking more perhaps at like cutting edge methods that are being used in corporate strategy. I think there's a lot of things doing with like, you know, and I think we've all been, or I've been toying around with like natural language processing, trying to understand like CEOs' sentiments or activists or analysts, you know, something like that could be really interesting to see in a masterclass, like how new methods are being used in corporate strategy research, or new data collection processes. I don't know, just an idea to get it started.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I see Teresa really busy taking notes on these things.
Exactly. I was actually, I was just taking notes right before, and it's funny, Elena, that you brought it up, because another one I think would also be interesting is maybe leveraging the session on micro foundations in a master class, maybe together with some new methods. Maybe that would be a nice combination in a way, but maybe we can even do 2 master classes out of that. Yeah.
Okay. And the competitive and the corporate strategy session, that's already so the cross-disciplinary panel, you know, a lot of this can speak to the competitive and the cooperative part, right?
Yes,
there's
we
a master
have
class
that
coming up,
already.
so
Yes.
that's in the stream of cross-disciplinary research. So either across, right now we covered a lot of the foundation issues, but specific topics like methods, intersection with other disciplines, or like specific topics, market strategy, and so that's certainly where we're going. Any suggestions on social events? I hope most of you, at least, if not all, will attend the SMS in Toronto. So if you have any suggestions on how to improve the social events, we always do have details yet to be finalized. So any suggestions will be helpful.
And even what to do in Istanbul. Sorry.
Go ahead, Elena.
Or suggestions for what you would like to see in Istanbul for next year.
I think Istanbul may have some boat cruises where you could see the city.
Oh, that would be lovely.
It may be expensive, so it may cost too much. But I think the jazz event sounds really great. So, and the walking tour. So I think that, you know, organizing it this year, those are 2 really good ideas for this year.
By all means, if, you know, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, or we can stay in touch. We, you know, as Janae was saying at the beginning, we have a whole hour, but nobody wants to use the full hour if we don't have to, right? If nothing comes to mind right now, but then maybe later on you think, oh, I think this could be a good activity for SMS, feel free to reach out to anybody in the leadership of the interest group. There's no promise. There's never a guarantee that the idea would actually be implemented. It really depends on time and resources available. But we definitely want to hear from you what ideas you think might be helpful, either for in-person interactions at a conference or for online events.
So I have a question. I guess this is more for Cinzia and maybe Arkadia and Minuan, but do we have a sense of like how many of our members are members of other groups, and how the trends are we like, have we been getting more members, or are numbers declining? How does that affect perhaps, like, I know that at some other conferences, it like the number of members that you have kind of determines the number of sessions that we can get. Are there any particular trends that we're seeing, or is pretty much status quo from the last few years?
The number of members of the interest group has been slowly increasing over time. So there's a very small sort of increase from year to year. I can't tell you exactly the percentage. I think that would be an interesting number to look at as well, right? Because I don't know the trend for the overall membership. I know the interest group has been gaining new members. At least from my experience, I know everybody is a member of 2 interest groups, right? Officially, unless they sign up for more, express an interest to be included in more. So there is a little bit of a constraint there, right? You can't be a member of every single interest group. I don't know if that fully answers your question, but it does depend. It does. The most important thing that it affects is the budget that we have for social events. Jonay, I saw you come back on camera. Do you know these numbers?
I do. That's why I popped back in. So last year, your IG had roughly 644 members throughout January to December. So far this year, you guys are at 599.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
but I think the numbers will increase just before the conference when there's some more.
Yes. So we do year to date when it comes to numbers. So I kind of would say you guys are on par and still on trend to roughly come in around the same.
But as I said, the main thing that it affects is the budget that we have for a social event, which is not huge to start out with. The number of sessions on the main program are a function of proposals submitted, and you don't have to be a member of the IG to submit to the corporate strategy IG, so that's not a requirement. So we could get on a given year more proposals than usual. And then the acceptance rate is across the entire SMS, right? So it doesn't mean that if we have more members, we have more space on the program and we can accept at a higher acceptance rate. It doesn't work that way. It's the same acceptance rate across all of SMS, and on average, of course, there can be sort of small differences, but and then the program is organized by the program chair into sessions based on the proposal submitted to that particular IG, so to our corporate strategy IG. Specifically. All right. Well, as I said, if any ideas come to mind, if any questions, we will send out in our annual newsletter very soon, in the next couple of weeks before the conference itself. You'll see that the newsletter includes very similar or the same information that we presented today and a few more details, and you can revisit these things in the newsletter. If at any point in time you want to reach out to those of us in the leadership of the interest group, we're happy to hear from you. And if not, I want to wish everybody a safe trip to Toronto. If you're attending the conference, I hope you enjoy every single one of these the great events that the IG has planned for you. Including the workshop, including the session, including the social events, all of that. And once again, I want to thank Arkady, I want to thank Minuan, and I want to thank our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful representatives at large. Many of them are still here for all the work that they've done to put these activities together. Thank you all, and all the best for Toronto.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
And the
Thank
big
you.
smoke will be gone by the time we take the walk.
Let's hope on that. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.